everybody, Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and this is a cut up piece of game board that I've cut into a rough circle. It's probably about 4 by 3.5 inches. I didn't measure it, but we can pull out a thing and check it. Yeah, it's well, no, it's about 3.5 by 3, it looks like. Or what the hell is my measuring stupid? 3.5 by almost 3.5, 3.25. Okay, well, anyways, basic gist is it's a rough round shape. I'm going to get a piece of snippers and a piece of sprue. What I want to make is like a junk pile that somebody would be looting, like a character would be looting, and it opens up in a trap door so that a marauder or a raider or a bandit or whatever could pop out of it. We want it to look kind of obvious, so that the party will metagame a little bit. So let's start with a little bit of glue. Okay, there we go. Then let's prop the back up with a bigger piece. Something like this, maybe. That should be pretty sturdy, I'm guessing. And the front of this will just flip down, you know, to... So let's get some cardstock and make a shell. Something like this. Okay, and let's get the other side. We'll probably have to do this one in a couple chunks because that one worked out really easily and normally doesn't. So I'm just going to get a piece here to get started. Let's get this hooked up on the back and closed up some. That might have been way too much glue to dry quickly. We'll figure it out as we go here. Just kind of hold that and burn ourselves a little bit. It's for the craft, right? Ah! Let's chip away some of that so the front looks right. Let's get some of these pieces on here to make it look like panels and junk that's stuck in place. Just like that. And we'll do it on the side here with a bunch of broken pieces too. And all I'm doing is just building this up to create the false image of a junk pile. That's all I'm doing. We don't want this top opened like that, so let's try to get some pieces in there. Fortunately, I have a bunch of cardstock scraps on the table from other projects, so that worked out well. Okay. Ah, it's hot. People are like, use a low temp gun. No, no. Low temp guns are garbage. No. If you get burned a little bit here and there, that's okay. That's good. That shows that you're... I'm stupid. Use whatever you want. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. I'm just being silly. These are just extra pieces of sprue I've had from different cut-offs that I never cleaned up. And I'm just decorating it up to make it look kind of cool and different than the other terrain I've made, so it doesn't look exactly identical. It's got a lot more stuff going on. Random pieces of shiz stuck to it. I mean, you could even use this as dweller housing for the people that live down on the surface if you wanted. That would be a good call for it too. Maybe it should be something like that instead. I don't know. I haven't decided. But I think it's going to be a trapdoor thing like I aspired it to be initially. Because I think that's the right play here. Okay. Now let's get a door that swings downward going. Now, if it were a dwelling, it would swing outward or upward probably, so that you could, you know, like prop it up with a stick. But, I don't know. Let's get a piece in here so it looks like plating. Something like that. All right, we got some more scraps. Let's work on that door, that flop down door. So we know it needs to be about that tall. And about that wide. And we need a piece on the bottom. I'm going to stir that up by getting some more glue into that crack. There we go. Something like that. And we need something to anchor that in place. Maybe some pieces of sprue would work. Like that. That's hot. Pull that out a little bit so it doesn't stick to the wood. Something like that. And then let's move that around a little bit. Okay. All right, let's pimp that out. So to make that a little thicker and so that it comes around the edges, what we'll do is we'll make some weird panels. They can kind of stick to that door in such a way something like that. We'll make a couple things like that to close the gaps. All right, this piece here keeps catching it, so I'm going to snip that off if I can. There we go. Let's get some more junk on here. We'll get this little piece of weird cardboard going. We want this folded a little better. Let's get a couple little more pieces of sprue. We'll make this maybe a handle. Something like that. What is hitting it? It's not closing down. Did I do something wrong here? Maybe this piece here is too thick. That's okay. Now we'll try it. Now it's something with that. There. Let's just warp that a little bit so it lays down better. Okay, there we go. Something like that. Let's get this will stop it from sitting flush, honestly. But I think it's going to make it look good. Something like this. Okay. There we go. Let's strengthen up that inside and make it look a little less than perfect. All right. That'll work. Hold on, I am drenched. I did not bring a cold beverage down here with me, so I'm doing this freestyle melting. All right, now we're gonna have to shore this up and make things sturdy. So to do that, we'll get some glue around all this crap on the base. Try not to get it on your toothpicks. That will make this really hard to open and close, but it will add a nice layer of grime because we'll get some baking soda and sturdy that up. And we want to make sure we don't get it anywhere where it's going to affect our door, okay? But having a little bit of pile of super glue on the base away from that door would be okay. We just don't want to touch where the door is and ruin that. I'm going to get a tray to catch. This is just an old dirty mirror. ODM, not ODB. And I'm just going to get my baking soda on there, like that. Get it on all the wet spots. You know the age-old adage, if you keep checking other people's feet to see if they stepped in dog shit, maybe you should stop for a minute and check your own. Well, I try to live by that. And lately I've been in a situation fighting local government, and I have to keep checking myself. Am I right? Do I know what I'm doing here? Do I understand the problem correctly? Do I have the right facts? And it all keeps coming back to one thing. There's right, there's wrong, there's the law, and then there's crime. I proved that one of our city ordinances violated our city charter, which makes it illegal. Instead of doing the right thing with that information, my mayor has decided to take it upon himself. Instead of letting city council to appoint, he's going to fall back to the charter. He's going to appoint people. But he's not appointing good guys. He's appointing more bad guys. It doesn't make sense to me. And I just think, well, you know, maybe you're not seeing this with clear eyes, Doom. Maybe you're the one who stepped in poop and you don't see it. But then I go and look up the people that he is appointing. One of them works for a major energy company that got $300 million from the state to come here, and he's their EHS manager. He's obviously going to be supporting their play in this. He's not doing that, he's got to take off of work to go to the meetings and stuff. He's been at some city council meetings and some water board meetings when I was there. He never spoke up about their wrongdoings or anything. He just kind of hangs out like he's known he was getting this position all along or something. And I just have to wonder, what do you got to do the right thing? If I was rich, I would get a lawyer and I would go to the national news about this. But I am poor. Obviously, I'm poor. Well, not obviously. Because if I was rich, I would still be in my basement turning garbage into garbage. But turning old garbage into new garbage. Okay, so that's what I got there. Looks like it's going to be useful and do what we want it to. So let's start out by painting it. Give me a moment to get a sleeve. My black paint's almost empty. I do have a new black paint here. Now, I don't need to hit this with a brown, but I'm going to use primer red, which is brown, and give the base coat a little bit of a breakup. And then we're going to air dry this with the hot air gun. +5 hot air gun at burning, because I know you guys like it when I use magic items. Okay, well, we have our first malfunction here, and that's this piece coming loose that holds the flap down. So we'll need to re-glue that quickly. So to make sure that that doesn't get ruined, I'm just going to get a dab of soup on there, and I'm going to use a toothpick to push that down into the gap and sturdy that up. Just like that. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of baking soda there. Just a tiny pinch. Like that. And that's okay. This will just add to the creativity of the paint job. All right, let's get a piece of cardboard. And you don't have to have a new one. You can use an old one. I don't know if you guys like these long form videos better, where I do it all in one craft, or if you guys like it where I break it up into two. So if you could let me know down below there, like, hey, you know, I like it when we do all this in a half hour or 40 minutes, or hey, you know, that's a bit much for me. Can you break it up into, you know, 15 and 25 or whatever it ends up being? Because I know it sounds crazy, but I actually can't read minds. And sometimes I feel like I can, but I can't. So I'm going to get some water, and I'm going to get that metallic brown, and I'm going to get in here and hit a lot of my metal plating structure with that, a lot of that, because that's important part of this is the metal plating. And any color of Pop-Tart box or whatever we used to make this, or whether it was snack cake box or whatever it was, that can show through. A color is not terrible. It's not ruining the craft. It might actually add something to the storytelling of this. We don't know till it's over, okay? I'll get more water, more metallic. Get in here, paint up the inside some, get rid of some of this baking soda powder. Okay. Now we're going to come back with the red and some water, the reddish brown and some water. We'll mix a little bit of that in. Okay. We'll touch some of this up with that. Get in some of these spots with it real wet. Okay. Something like that. Then we're going to mix that white, that brown metallic, and that reddish brown together and make a hideous color. And we're going to especially focus on the baking soda dirt look and stuff with that, especially the grime. But we're going to get some other spots on high areas too. Like up in here. Maybe a little bit on top. Something like that. Okay, we're going to set this off to the side and we're going to air gun this again. Cool. I'm going to get some metallic, some silver. Let me get a cheapy one. This is kind of big. There's more in there. I just don't feel like fighting with it. I'm getting a cheapy brush. This is a makeup brush from the Tree of Dollars. Okay. I'm going to hit some of this hardware and piping and stuff a little bit. I'm not going overboard. Catch some of the metal plates and show that it's chopped up. Whatever this mess is here, we'll hit that. When it comes down to the cosmic argument, are you a good guy or a bad guy? Well, we all like to think we're the good guy in our own story. There's no doubt about that. Nobody wants to be the bad guy unless they're, they got some kind of other issues hanging off the back corner. And there's been times where I've wanted to be the bad guy because it was easier. But then I had to take a step back and say, hey, you got kids, you got responsibilities, you got people that rely on you. You can't be the bad guy. You got to do what you got to do here to make this right. And that is not an easy thing for anybody to come to terms with. So don't think that I was handling it perfectly and that I don't make mistakes, because I do. I'm just a human. I will say, on the other hand, though, succeeding as a good guy feels way better than succeeding as a bad guy. Even like when you talk about like what things you would do in war, succeeding as a good guy feels way better than succeeding as a bad guy, undoubtedly. Doing what is right and what is just has a higher ranking reward system than being a villain every time, undoubtedly. Hold on, I gotta wipe my face off. Sorry, sweat's getting in my eyes. All right, let's get some kind of something like this. Oh, I gotta pick up sprues, flying sprues. Something like this. I'm not sure what's in that. Let's see if we can get it loose. Oh, it's some old, looks like Mod Podge glue and paint. You'll have that. Let's get a little bit of black paint in here. Just a tiniest little bit. You can mix this wash anywhere. You don't have to mix it in a tray like I'm doing. You can mix it on your cardboard. But I got a consistency I kind of want this in. But I don't know if I could achieve on the cardboard without it absorbing too much of my water. Now my brush has some metallic left in it, and that's okay. Now I want to get in here and dingy up and darken things in some spots. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I really want to focus in on that muck on the ground a lot, because that muck isn't dry like dirt. It's like oil and grease with all the dust of the world stuck in it. Okay. And let's get whatever little bit we have left, kind of touch around some of the sticking out pieces up here. Get inside a little bit in the corners to make sure we got some grime in there. Darken the floor up. Something like that. Okay. Get a little bit more. Can we get it in there? Okay. Now, let's get a brush. And let's add a little color to this, because I noticed these pieces are kind of like the Old West. The dinginess that I'm striving for is too dingy. So let's make it a little less dingy. Let's start with dark blue. And let's just find one panel and trying to miss the outsides of the panel and miscellaneous spots inside. Create the impression that that was once painted to be nice. A little bit of cardboard will go a long way on this too, because you can get some water, some of that paint, and make a different little bit of a color. Take a lot of that off. green. A little bit of water. Some of that dinginess. There we go. And I don't know what else to do. Maybe I don't want to use a bunch of red all the time. Let's do red. Hell with it. Get a little bit of red. And let's do this side panel in red. I'm just mixing this in with some of that other crap from before that's up here, so it's not so vibrant. And just dab it around. It doesn't have to be good coverage because that was once painted this color, but it's been long since scratched and rubbed off and ruined in many ways. And that's okay. I'm going to get that red one more time. And a lot more of this muck. Is there any of that metallic left anywhere? There's some of that metallic. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of dab around on this door. So it looks a little more interesting, you know what I mean? There it is. That is my junk pile that opens up as a surprise trap. Or it could be used as like a house for a scrapper or somebody, or, you know, a dweller on the surface. I think I'm going to call them dwellers. I don't know yet. But at this point, you want this to dry. You could use a hair dryer or just let it organically dry. Then you want to spray it with a good clear coat. Because something like this that you probably will be handling a little bit during combats and stuff, that you're going to be opening and closing and moving miniatures around, you want to make sure you clear coat it. So, this is my trap door junk pile, though. So thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing here on the channel, I appreciate that you do. So do me a favor if you could, and I know it's a big ask, but could you like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, and leave a comment, and all that happy crappy that appeals to the algorithmos, the great AI that determines whether or not my channel has value. And when I say my channel, I kind of think of this as not really my channel. I think of it as kind of like our channel, because there are so many of you that tune in regularly over and over and over again and comment and are on the Discord and stuff and come and play in my silly contests to win my silly prizes. I feel like it's become like a us thing. And I do take everyone's input very seriously because I'm making the videos to entertain you, not to entertain me. Even though, you know, I enjoy doing this, it's for everyone else. So anyways, also check out the description below this video, and it'll have a link to the website, dungeonswag.com, where you can get some awesome miniatures sent directly to your house. It has a link to our Discord where we have silly contests to win silly prizes. And there's a discount code down there if you want to check out the minis too. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.